Oh god.
おい、そこのあんた。やっと目が覚めたか。
What?
国境を越えようとしていたんだろう。違うか。俺たちがあそこのコサドルと同じで帝国の罠に飛び込んだってわけだ。
Oh fuck. Okay, VTubers. You'll probably heard of them if you spend any amount of time on the internet in the past few months, whether it is Twitter, YouTube, or heck, even Chatterbyte. And if you don't know what they are, they're basically characters that are being played by a human using a 2D face rig or let's say a 3D motion capture. So, I like Weepshit, it says on my channel banner. So when I instantly heard of this whole VTubing thing, I didn't really check them out. Okay, hear me out first. Essentially, during the early rise of VTubers during the 2020, I never really paid much attention to them because I've always thought of them as just streamers with anime pictures. Until that is, I started to learn the basics of Japanese and I started to watch more Japanese content. So I made a new Japanese account for YouTube. Like anything that's new, I really don't know where to go, and for this case, what to watch. So yeah, I've heard that this whole VTubing thing is quite fun, so I was like, why not, let's just try it, it's pretty good for my Japanese practice anyway. So yeah, like everyone who got into this genre, I was bombarded with recommended video, stream, clips, and even this instant curry ad. And I was surprised with how the community kept expanding and improving on existing content, with really high quality animations of clips, funny edits, and a lot of fucking memes. The sheer amount of content that exists made me understand why you can't really get out of the rabbit hole once you get in. And for me, the turning point from a skeptic was surprisingly Beat Saber. I was just browsing around through the custom songs that they have, and I found one of Kali's songs before knowing who Mori Calliope was in the first place. And it kinda clicked for me that this whole community is not just another streaming fad, it's a lot of really talented people and entertainers building this massive community that throws super chats at their favorite VTubers.
Said money, and I said, what?
Well, I don't think I could go into the whole watching a stream for hours. I'll probably stick around this community for quite a long time since I'm really enjoying my time here. But with the rise in demand, unsurprisingly, the offering will also rise, and if you're like me, getting to this a bit late can be utterly confusing. So this time I'll try to give you a rundown of how we got in the first place and the smorgasbords. That's the word. I give up. I tried recording this for like 5 times. I keep failing.
Smorgasbord
Of choice that we have today. Also, if you're here, there's a big chance that you've seen the other more popular videos like the one from Giguk and the one from Scambully Reviews, so I'll try to timestamp the area that you might find too similar, and if you want to, you can just go skip to the next bit. All good? Let's go. There's gonna be a lot of debates on who was the original creator of passing an anime character to a human live on camera, but I'll try to propose some theory. If the character is just someone posting a video on the internet using an animated model, many will point to the British YouTuber Amy Yamato, which first posted the video back in 2011, and till this day the animation still impressed me on how well it blends in with the real world. But I did find something that precedes Amy Yamato, that is more to akin of what we know today as VTubers. The mascot for the Japanese software company Nitro Plus, Supersonico, did post a video back in 2011, announcing an event that was held for the company to show off Supersonico. But at this point, right, the internet wasn't as huge as it is now, and it didn't garner much attention. And the closest thing we have in terms of popularity to the VTubers that we have today is probably the blue-haired girl famous for holding a giant-ass spring onion, Hatsune Miku. From googling a bunch of stuff from the past, the closest thing I could find that somewhat resembles current day VTuber is Eiren. Sadly, I couldn't find much of a video since the channel kinda got new, but according to Wikipedia, her channel was uploading since March 2014, and her only difference to today's VTuber was that she was using a voice synthesizer. But that aside, she's the closest thing I could find to being the earliest VTuber. But in terms of the first VTuber who exploded in popularity and essentially jumpstarted this whole community, Kizuna Ai. Their first video launched in late 2016, growing exponentially quickly from all the attention it was getting from the media coverage, reaching 1 million subscribers in just the span of a year, then becoming the Japan National Tourism Organization mascot in 2018. And I think most would agree that this initial explosion was the thing that created this whole giant rabbit hole that we have today. After the initial popularity of Kizuna, VTubers started to become more popular in Japan, and as more and more VTubers came up, some managed to rise to the top, such as Kaguya Luna and virtual Noja Loli Kitsune Musume YouTuber Oji-san. Yes, that sounds like a light novel title, but that's the full name. And then there's the Mirai Akari project that supposedly came from Eiren's channel that got renamed to a shift of focus to this new project. And apparently this fort ended up being called the Four Heavenly Kings by the fans since they were the biggest VTuber in the scene at the time. From big established brands such as Square Enix to startups like Cover Corp, all of them started to experiment with this whole new genre, wanting to get a piece of the pie. Some companies like Nijisanji approached the whole genre with a more informal and lower budget format that is more akin to what we have on Twitch. But at this point, most of this is still contained in the land of ramen, and the following outside of Japan is still relatively small. While VTubers are popping up left and center in Japan, outside Japan there hasn't been a lot of big VTubers around 2018. There certainly has been some attempt at homegrown independent VTubers such as the now popular Iron Mouse, who's been streaming since around that time, or one of the earliest Indonesian VTuber, Maya Putri, but overall the concept of VTuber still hasn't gotten a huge following in the international scene yet. But as time passes, the demand slowly grows and there's more incentive to expand VTubing outside of the land of the extremely complicated toilets. While Hololive did debut the menu faster than Nijisanji was the first when it comes to expanding to foreign markets, trying the lock on the world's biggest market, China, by announcing Virtual Real, and closely followed by the expansion to Southeast Asia in the form of Nijisanji Indonesia, with Hololive following suit by introducing Hololive China back in 2019. As the format moves away from high 3D budget mocap like the one you see in Jason Ice channel and early Hololive, it turned into more livestream and gameplay. Unsurprisingly, a similar culture that has skyrocketed livestreamers in the past emerges: clippers. So many clippers. With this type of shorter format, it makes more sense to translate these clips into English, and compared to the high entertainment per second compared to that of a livestream, it became a gateway drug for many fans of VTuber, including me, thus creating a lot of clipping/translation channel, with some even garnering big enough followings to create their own community, to the point of people started clipping the clippers and simping for clippers. This steady increase in interest and the knowledge that this genre exists slowly builds up, culminating in a year that probably will cement virtual YouTubers in the mind of a lot of internet users for the next however long years. As we know, around the first quarter of 2020 is when the world starts shitting itself, and a lot of people are stuck at home, suddenly with a lot of extra time.
I am bored. I'm bored.
Every puzzle has an answer.
At the same time, more English media spotlight is being given for VTubers. For one, Project Melody, a VTuber residing in Chatterbait, broke records and appeared on the top of the page, even creating a sort of controversy where some are for and against VTuber going to camming, bringing both good and bad attention to the genre as a whole. Meanwhile, branches of Nijisanji and Hololive are being made every few months, from Nijisanji Korea to Hololive Indonesia. I know that correlation doesn't always mean causation, but ever since countries around the world start implementing social distancing and people kind of just being at home with nothing going on in their hand, the Google Trends of VTuber just skyrocketed in the past few months. But all this growth kinda pales to what's going to happen next. In April of 2020, the audition for Hololive English was open, and wouldn't you know it, by September of 2020, the line of Hololive English or Holomyth was announced. This seemingly opened the floodgates for international fans, with each member getting their own way of followings, with one particular blue shark girl racing her way to the top of the subscriber leaderboard, gaining 1 million subs in just a matter of months, leading the charts and overtaking the most subscribed channel in Hololive Japan. Meanwhile, in the same year, other international agencies started to pop up, with one of the bigger one being VShoujo, an American-based VTuber agency consisting of previously independent YouTuber like Project Melody and non-VTubers such as Nyanyars. This immense growth around the time didn't only happen to the Hololive English lineup. The whole VTuber community in general went up in popularity. Most of the established Japanese lineup got an exponential growth around the same time, due to the influx of English speaker audience and vice versa for Hololive English. Heck, in my Japanese account I've been getting a bunch of Japanese translation of English VTubers. And with the popular format being livestream, this means that almost anyone with a decent enough setup and a decent enough internet connection can become one. This basically opened the floodgates to independent and smaller creators. And not just that, huge corporations like Sony is even trying to get their hands right now into the medium, and is currently doing an audition. So if you're here, you probably have some sense of what VTuber is and what they do. And now, I'll try my best to show you the infinite amount of offerings that we have nowadays. Quick disclaimer, I'll probably still miss quite a bit of VTubers just due to the sheer amount of VTubers there are. I won't be getting into the details of every single channels, and this is gonna make this whole video into a uni lecture, and I won't even be doing any of them justice. The Japanese Hololive has 3 groups, which is Hololive, Inunaka Music, and Holstars. Hololive consists of 7 generations of female VTubers in total, even though they said they only have 5. One of them is called Gen 0 and the other is called Hololive Gamers. Gen 0 are members with solo debuts, and consist of a lot of the founding members of Hololive, such as Tokyo Sora and Roboko. And Hololive Gamers are apparently focused on gameplay, even though everyone is kind of doing them right now, and the only thing that the group has is, what, like Kimono Mimi and nothing else, I guess? Then the rest are pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to explain much, outside most of them are Friday streamers with their own unique talents and niches. Now, the other group under the main Hololive is Holstar, consisting of 3 generations of male VTubers with a similar premise to Hololive, just with far less media coverage. I literally didn't know Holstars exist before doing this research, and from watching a lot of the clips, it really feels like they're basically Hololive, and the only reason I could think of why they aren't as popular are probably the target market just isn't as many. And last but not least is Inonaka Music. Originally it was Aski and Suise, but then one of them was moved to the main Hololive branch, resulting in only one member being left for the music label. This branch is probably the least known, but if you do like VTubers doing music stuff, then go check out Aski. Now going out the line of the facts machine, we have two existing Hololive branch, which is Hololive Indonesia and Hololive English. Hololive English today doesn't seem to have that many members, even though they are very successful. It consists of the original 5 members of Holomyth, and just a few weeks before I started making the script, a new Hololive EN member was announced, a V singer Iris, under a new branch called Project Hope. And I don't really think I need to explain much of Hololive EN, since anyone clicking this will probably know who they are, but to sum it up, we have a memer, a German chicken, what I thought was a British YouTuber, a pink rapper, and a girl whose fans are so dedicated they place her on New York Times Square. Just goes to show that super chats aren't just enough, huh? Now we go to the line of the superior instant rule, consisting of 6 members divided by 2 generations. And honestly, at this point, Hololive Indonesia just feels like Hololive EN, just with more Indonesian inside jokes. More often than not, they're gonna be speaking English and collaborate with a lot of the VTubers from both English and Japan scene. Coincidentally, all of them are at minimum bilingual, and one of them speak like 5 languages. So yeah, if you're not Indonesian, I don't think you'll miss out on much other than some inside jokes with names here and there. And fun fact, Ollie's mascot is called Udin, and if you laugh at that, I'm 90% sure you're Indonesian. If you think that Hololive has too many members to follow, then you haven't seen Nijisanji. Do you have a niche? Well, chances are Nijisanji has something for you. You're basic? There you go, high school girl. You like Saudi princess? Boom, you got one. You got a dog that is not an anime girl? Boom, a literal dog. Yeah, Nijisanji is just like a dog. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't check every single VTuber in Nijisanji, since otherwise I'm gonna upload like a video once a year. So does this mean quantity over quality? I wouldn't say it that way. It's kind of like waifus and husbandos. Literally everyone has their own niche, and Nijisanji tries to solve it by literally chucking a fuck ton of them to you. In terms of the groups based on language, there are 5, being Nijisanji, which is the Japanese one, Nijisanji Indonesia, Virtual Real, or the Chinese one, Nijisanji English, and Nijisanji Korea. And there used to be one for India, but they got dissolved in the first quarter of this year, sadly. Japanese Nijisanji currently has over about 100 members, with the first and second wave released at the same time, with the next generation being labeled as Seed and Gamer. But they probably think this is way too confusing, and so they just mush all them up into one main Nijisanji group. And then Virtual Real is a Chinese branch of Nijisanji. I'm just gonna call them VR from now because it's a pain for me to say Virtual Real all the time. The 3 groups are VR, VR Stars, and VR Link. VR is the main branch, consisting of 39 members and divided by 13 ways, while VR Stars are pre-established content creators from Bilibili, and VR Link are small independent creators that get help from Nijisanji in terms of technical production. Both the Korean and Indonesian branch of Nijisanji has 5 generations with 17 members for the Korean branch and 16 for the Indonesian one. Surprisingly, the latest branch of Nijisanji is Nijisanji English, with only 2 waves with 3 members on each of them. Nijisanji is where you go if you want to get the smaller streamer feel, where production quality are not as high as the other bigger streamers, but the chats are far more smaller with more opportunities for interaction, since the chat isn't just a wave of pogs and check W's. Established in November 2020 during the height of the VTuber craze, V-Studio was made by a former Twitch employee and a legendary YouTuber that made this video. Essentially, they live and breathe internet meme culture, and it kinda shows based on their lineup, with a drunk cat, a loud demon, and an anime girl who made a lot of cameras scared for their future income. The V-Studio VTubers mainly reside in Twitch, like a lot of Western streamers, unlike all the other VTubers who mostly use YouTube as a platform. V-Studio claims to be the agency that prioritizes the creators first and gives them as much freedom as possible when it comes to content. And it kinda shows from taking on one of the rather unusual talents, being that they only use text-to-speech for communication.
This is easily your best look yet. Congratulations on your new model.
Thank you.
You look absolutely amazing.
Made by a vocal producer by the name of Gyari, with an oddly creepy yet satisfying avatar, around September of 2019 he started an audition, and by March of 2020 announced 3 members of the VOMMS project, with the lineup being Pikami, Tomoshika, and Monoe. What drew me in at first to the group was Pikami, with her bilingual stream going from English to Japanese with no effort whatsoever. But as I watched them more and more, all 3 of them actually has pretty damn good chemistry, and in the end they become one of my most watched VTubers. Sadly, earlier this year one of the members got suspended due to a contract breach, so there's only 2 members left on the VOMS project. But hey, if you are into Gyari's art style and you don't mind a teapot scratch here and there, check out the Vox Monster project. Both Pikami and Tomoshika are pretty fun, and sometimes the CEO Gyari also streams and makes his own content. Essentially Japan's answer to, Jesus, the VTuber market is crowded with, what's a weeb? And now we have Prism Project, basically a Japan-based all-English VTuber agency. I don't think the whole group has a gimmick or premise per se, but most of them are variety streamers with some having very striking character design. I mean, that's how I discovered them in the first place, with one of them being a dog mixed with a charm or something, and once I started watching them, some of them are pretty fun to watch. Oh god, yeah, this is just a natural progression of VTuber, isn't it? The 34th constitution of the internet says that if it's on the internet, there's a porn version of it. Well, here you go. Ping Pong Pro and its subsidiary Masquerade is an adult-focused VTubing agency, with Ping Pong Pro being the more NSFW-er. I don't know if that's English, but yeah. They offer a lot of NSFW product in the outside and booth, consisting of a lot of ASMR and well, just flat out not safe for work video. Meanwhile, the sister group Masquerade focus on giving the virtual maid cafe experience with a lot of less NSFW stuff and mostly resides in YouTube. So if you're into those kind of stuff, you're welcome. Otherwise, okay, this video is long enough. I'm gonna do a quick fire session. You ready? Let's go. Not enough English VTubers, here you go. Suneria, a US-based agency consisting of 8 members. They're still not too big, so community can be pretty vibrant. What's that? You want more Japanese VTubers? This is an agency under a mangaka called Tsukunade Nori with 10 talents under their belt. Don't forget all their old guys from Kizuna ideas, a lot of them are still active to this day. Just Google update 208, it'll pop up. What, you speak English or Japanese? How the fuck did you get here in the first place? Okay, but here we go. Russian. We Planet, one of the VTubers literature called Planet Renewal, like some RPG mechanic. You speak Thai, go to Pixel. They currently have 5 members that all speak Thai. You speak Vietnamese, check out Nijigen. Sadly, they only have 1 member, but hey, they still speak Vietnamese. For more Indonesian VTubers, go to Mahapancha and Yume Reality. They have a bunch of Indonesian VTubers. You want ultra sweaty gaming, virtual esports project got you covered. If you play Apex, that is, because otherwise they don't play any other games in the esports. Or if it's too annoying for you, boom, here you go. You have a fucking gorilla and a fucking horse. That video took way too long to make. But if you managed to get it in the first place, thank you for spending your time on this random ass video. It seems like VTubers are probably gonna be here to stay for a long time. And if you like any of the channels, any of the VTubers that I showed you, go check them out and let me know what you think about them. And yeah, sorry for the like week-long hiatus. This video took way too long for me to make. And yeah, share your thoughts and opinion below, and bye for now.